Gabriel fans, this is Todd. So, I'm going to backtrack a little bit of history. A long time ago, one of my favorite toys were the Micronauts. They had all kinds of cool Micronauts. These are the aliens with glowing brains. And I really liked this guy. He was not my favorite, but he was pretty cool. And that he had, you know, this cool razor saw blade. He had a laser gun and glowing brain and wings. And he had a tail, which it may sound kind of funny, but I love the tail because when you would bend his knees and put the tail out there, he could stand very easily. And Micronauts were known for always falling over because their joints are kind of loose. So it kind of made a tripod type situation. So he was my most stable guy. Everybody else had to take and put something in their foot to hold them up. Otherwise they'd fall over, especially in the city. So there we go. And so as I started to collect more figures, and I noticed there was some things in Masters of the Universe that seemed to match Micronauts. In fact, the cannon from Castle Grayskull was actually based on parts used from the cannon from that giant dragonfly. Let me show you. Hold on a second. I have it right over here. My giant dragonfly, cool looking. It's called Hornetroid or something like that. And this gun right here is the gun they used for the prototype for the Masters of the Universe Castle Grayskull gun. You can put a little figure in here. It's a pretty awesome vehicle. And it has some features that are kind of like the features that we saw with the Fright Fighter, in that the wings on this actually flap. Here's the button here. I forgot where it was. Which the Fright Fighter does the same thing. So there has been some nods and some things towards the old Micronauts toy line in Masters of the Universe. So seeing something in Masters of the Universe that you saw as a kid from your or when you were younger from your Micronauts was not that big of a surprise. And one thing I noticed was Squeeze. He had these cool leg bands on his legs for armor, and it always reminded me of the little armor legs on this guy here. And so I'm looking at it, and there's a lot of similarities in these figures. Now, things that are different is, of course, Squeeze's giant long arms and no tail. So to kind of fix that problem, to make my own custom, I decided to mix Squeeze. He's not going to stand, is he? Stand, man, stand. With, what is his name? The one-tooth guy. What's your name? Whiplash. There you go, Whiplash. And so here I have a figure that I took, this is from Origins, and I took Squeeze's legs, and I took Whiplash's torso and arms, because it had the tail. Dun, 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 dun. And then I scanned in the wings, and then printed them off. And then some guy online had these parts that I just printed off, and then I had to create the little wrist pieces in between so that these could pop off and on just like the old Micronaut figures had way long ago. So this was my cool little design, and I liked using just the normal head from Squeeze. I think that worked really good. And the greens complemented themselves. They aren't exactly the same, but they're close. So now I was getting ready to think about making a bigger version, because I do like that, having a little bit shorter guys, and I was thinking about making a whole series of Micronaut knockoffs that were Origin size. Being their Micronauts, it should be smaller than the main guys. But the more I thought about it, it's like, this guy would be an awesome, just regular size monster. So my next thought was to get Whiplash, another one. You know what? I got one in the box behind me. Hold on a second. Hold up a second. I got him in my Monsters of the Universe box behind me. I got some Horde Troopers though blocking my box from being opened. There he is. Bum, 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 bum. And he is large, and he is massive, and he is intimidating as all get out. Look how much bigger he is than the classics. And so I was thinking about getting him and remaking him. into this figure here. But he's going for a lot on eBay and the secondary market right now. He's not a cheap figure to get. And so I was like, oh man. So the more I thought about it though, I just don't like the tail going all the way up his back, because you got to mount the wings on there, and it's just kind of a weird deal to put the wings on the tail. And so I started thinking about this and thinking about this. What could I do to still make a tail on my Masters of the Universe Classics figures, or classic sized figures, to do this, but I still want to use, you know, the legs from Whiplash, the legs from Squeeze, and maybe the head from Squeeze as well. I mean, this head is cool, don't get me wrong, but it's not Masters of the Universe head to have this alien glowing head. So I need to use something that would match Masters of the Universe. So what I've come up with was, well, I did think of this guy temporarily, but not for very long, that he could also potentially work. Caldor, because he's got a tail too. But again, the tail goes all the way up his back. But I was thinking, we got another figure here, and this guy's tail ends right at the end of his spine, right there, just like the original. I mean, look at that. It's very, very similar. Now the greens are a lot darker, which kind of stinks, but it could work. So now I'm thinking I could take this guy here, and whoops, sorry, Faker, and this guy here, and maybe do some kind of mixing, melding to make it work. Now, I don't know if it's just stealing the loincloth, and that's it, because the tail really is only attached to the loincloth. It's not really attached to the body itself. That could work. Or whether it's doing using the whole entire body here and just doing a leg swap on this one and have him have light green legs, because I really like these on there. Or maybe it is to get Beastman's armor pieces and just make them on there so it looks like these pieces on there. I haven't decided yet where I'm going, or maybe even to make fresh 3D printed parts to go on there. But I do know for the wings, I am planning on using these from the new Masterverse Hordak eventually when I get this done. And I do know I want to use a different head than this, and I do want to also replace these cool hands with the weapons like we saw with the Micronauts. So I hate replacing these though, because it's so cool. Check us out. The Four Horsemen totally knocked us out of the park. These webbed fingers here are actually made in clear material. Let me find a different color so you can see the clearness of it. See, look at that. Look at that. And it's just so clever. They made the webbing clear. The whole hand is actually clear and just painted green where the fingers are. And they did the same thing with this hand too, where his thumb is. Again, it's just clear material right there. And it's just the cleverest idea I've ever seen to get that clear. Now, they didn't do the web feet. That would have been kind of a cool extra bonus too. But taking these hands off does kind of stink. But again, I don't want to ruin my original figures. So I looked through my shelves, and I found on my shelves another Squeeze and another Lizard Man. Dun 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 dun. But I do know I have another one of these guys too in a box somewhere unopened, because I was going to make another custom Whiplash using this guy here. But again, this green doesn't match either. It's just not the same green. So sometime next month when I have time, I will be ripping these open out of their respective boxes after I come up with a plan. So there is Squeeze, and here is the man of lizardness. I'm not sure how the coloring is going to work. Am I going to need to get another figure as well, like maybe Whiplash for the arms? Because let's check out Whiplash's coloring in Classics versus this guy here. Yeah, it's not exactly as close as it was with Origins, but it's not too far off. It's a little different. It's a little different. So it may take more than just 2 figures, we'll see. But I'm kind of excited about this project, but I got so many things going on right now. I'm going to have to wait until after Halloween in order to get back to this project. But I wanted to show you guys what I was thinking in my mind. And maybe you can get some ideas from you guys. Be like, hey, what about this? What about that? So post in the comments some of your ideas. Again, the goal is to make a figure similar to this guy here is actually the real mold, the real model we're going for. But I want it to be classicized so it looks like he's part of the He-Man world, which is what this was. Or maybe this is good enough. Maybe having a small, Micronaut-sized guy compared to classics is kind of a cool idea, and I just need to swap the wings out. So, again, I haven't decided my final form yet of what I'm going to do with this figure, but we shall see. So, give me your opinions. Let me know what you think. And that's really all that I got. So, until next time, good journey. Bye now, you guys. Thanks for joining me.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it!